Trading Bell, brought to you by ICEA Lion Group.
Digitrust is here. Save and invest in Digitrust, a first-in-class online platform. Visit invest.icealion.com.
Welcome to another exciting episode of the Trading Bell. This week on the show, we shall be speaking to Caesar Mwangi. He is the CEO of ICEA Lion, and he'll be talking to us about the insurance sector in 2021. Why is it that penetration is still low at just about 3%? We'll be delving more into that and much more. But before we get into that conversation, let's take a look at Mr. Mwangi's profile.
Dr. Caesar Mwangi is a Chief Executive Officer, ICEA Lion Insurance Holdings Limited. Prior to joining the group, he served as the MD Sasini PLC, CEO of Trans-Africa Renewable Energy Enterprise Sanimani, and the Finance Director of the Independent Mediation Service of South Africa. He holds a PhD in Organizational Performance and Change Management from the University of Johannesburg. Currently, he is a member of the board of the United Nations Environmental Programme Principles of Sustainable Insurance Initiative and chairs the boards of Strathmore Education Registered Trust and the Kianda School in Nairobi. He is also the vice chairman of the Strathmore University Council.
Thank you, sir, for joining us on the show.
It's a pleasure to be here, Abby.
And
Very
happy New Year and quite a bright year, some have said.
Absolutely. After where we've come from, this is fantastic. I think it can only get better.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And Mr. Mwangi, insurance is a very delicate topic when you
Absolutely.
bring it to Kenyans.
Right.
Majority feel it is for the elite.
Yes.
It is overly priced.
Absolutely.
And it's not a common man's product.
Absolutely.
I mean, talk to us about what ICA Lion is all about, and
Yes.
how are you as a company positioning yourself in terms of growing the insurance penetration?
Okay, fantastic. You've actually mentioned the fact that insurance seems a little bit complicated. So let me demystify insurance. From ICA Lion's point of view, we are in the insurance business. And I just want to, first of all, clarify that there is what we call short-term insurance, okay? And that is what we call sometimes general insurance. We have a general insurance business called ICA Lion General, and it offers solutions for short-term insurance.
Yeah.
And what are short-term insurance? A simple example is a premium you pay for your vehicle so that your vehicle can be insured in case of an accident. And if there's an accident, you will be paid to cover the cost of that accident and the damages and to restore you to the position where you can use that vehicle again. That is short-term insurance. It could be insurance against fire, it could be insurance against burglary, or whatever the case is. But you pay a premium on an annual basis and you get restored back to the position where you are before the accident or the event occurred. That's short-term insurance. And people need to understand the reason short-term insurance is important is because you are able to continue with your life and you're able to recover the losses that you have incurred without having to break the bank or to mess up your financial situation. And that's why it's good to pay a premium, which is a small amount of money, which can then be used to recover from the situation that you're in. Now, it works on a principle where if there are many people who are paying premiums, not all of them will have accidents.
That's true.
Only a small portion of them will have accidents.
Yeah.
So we're able then to pay out for those accidents and cover those accidents that occur, but not everybody has an accident every year.
That's true.
So that is how it works on the principle of pooling resources. That's a short-term insurance. When you look at the long-term insurance, we have what we call, for example, life products from our life business. We have life insurance. Abby, without a doubt, every single human being, yourself and myself, at one point in time, we shall exit this world.
That's true.
Right? Now, we've got dependents, people who depend on us, people we take care of. And some of the products we offer is in anticipation when we exit, we can pay a premium for a period of time so that when we exit, our dependents can then have the benefit of a lump sum paid to them, and that can help them get along, continue the lifestyle that they're used to when you are around, and that is what we call the life insurance product. And there are a whole range of products there, including education products. When your child is very small, you know at some point in time they'll need to go to university.
Sure.
And they want to go to the best universities in the world. So you can actually target to start paying a premium on a monthly basis, and at some point in time, there'll be a maturity and you can be able to take that money and pay for the university fees. And that's the long-term insurance products, sometimes it's referred to as life insurance products. So those are the very basic nuances of insurance, and they are very useful and very necessary for people to live life without having major shocks affecting them, by being able to pay something small over a period of time.
All right.
Within our group, we also have what we call the investment business, which is ICEA Lion Investment. And this is a business which helps people to invest the money that they have for a good return, which they can then use on the needs that they have. And this particular company, the ICEA Lion Investment Company, has got a whole range of products also. One of them is actually one we launched last week. It's called the Digitrust Money Market Fund, which is a product which you can actually, or a solution which you can actually access on your mobile phone, and you can then invest as little as 500 shillings, and you will get a return on that of at least 8%, 8.5% approximately, depending on the yields in the money markets, and your money grows.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Are you saying all this is at the comfort of my handset?
At the comfort of your handset.
Aha.
Absolutely. And if you have a Mulika Mwizi, we actually also are able to give you access through a certain code that you can use, USSD code, which you can use on your your simple mobile device.
All right.
Okay? Yeah, you can actually.
And what's the return looking like?
Well, the money markets yield approximately 8.5%, depending on the investment portfolio that you invest in. And that is a very reasonable return. It is much better than any savings account. It's a low risk product, and therefore the return is quite reasonable, and that's approximately what you would expect to get from it.
Interesting.
But the main thing is it's very convenient and accessible and very easy to deposit money and also to withdraw the money. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Clearly our viewers need to check that out.
They need to check that out. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And Mr. Mwangi, let's still stay on this innovations. Insurance is very competitive.
Yes, it is very
And
competitive.
we do know that there are several players in the market.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And it is best price, willing customer.
Right.
And you do understand that for you to be able to penetrate the market,
Yes.
your products need to be competitive. How
Absolutely.
is ICA putting its products out there in the wake of this cutthroat competition?
Okay. You're very right, there's cutthroat competition. And the biggest challenge we have is that there's a very low insurance penetration, and we are all competing for the same people who actually buy into insurance. Okay? So we call it cutthroat competition. Now, I want to make it very clear. Number one, we should not be competing on price in the insurance industry, because we are underwriting a risk, right? Now, if we don't underwrite that risk adequately, if an event occurs in future, we may not be able to cover that event because already we've underpriced the risk. And this in simple terms is saying insurance is priced based on the risk that we are underwriting. So the competition, the best level of competition is based on service levels, right? Whereby when an event occurs, how quickly can we pay off the claim? That is the competition we want. It is also based on the usefulness or the appropriateness of the products or the solutions that are offered to the market. If we offer very good solutions to the market, then we shall outcompete anybody else. And so we need to understand the needs of the market, and that's what we should be competing on, not on the price. And it is very unfortunate when insurance clients shop for insurance looking at the price levels, okay? Because they will end up being disappointed at some stage when it comes to claiming, okay?
Cheap can be expensive.
Cheap can be very expensive. And we want to say that as ICA Lion, we underwrite the risk and we price it appropriately, and when we come to the claim process, it's very quick and it's very fair, and we pay off our claims. We don't disappoint our customers at all. And I think that's where we're competing on.
Right.
And that's where we want to focus on as a company that fulfills its promise when the time for that promise comes.
All right.
Yeah.
And you've actually touched a live wire by saying keeping promises.
Right.
And the general perception of Kenyans with insurance products is that insurance companies take time before you get your compensation. They take time before the turnaround time is usually a big area of conversation.
Yes.
That's leaving many people saying, I don't need an insurance after all. When you look at Kenya, we have a penetration of 3%.
Absolutely.
When you look at brothers down in South Africa,
Yeah.
we are touching about 15%.
15%, 16%,
Yeah.
absolutely. You know, Ebi, when you say that, my heart sinks. Because when there is a mess in one company, all of us are labeled as a messy group. And we as a group have said, we don't want to be part of any messy group. If anything, we want to be a world-class provider of insurance services. That's our vision. Understand? And so we will continue doing the right thing. And we are saying anybody who tries us out, okay, can hold us to account. We have a turnaround time that is quick, and we fulfill our promise. We will not give excuses and say, we can't do this, we can't do that, come tomorrow, come next week, etc. No, we don't want to play that game. And maybe others may be in that space, but in all honesty, we are committed fully to providing products, providing solutions, and when it comes to that claims payment process, which is the time for fulfilling the promise, we want to fulfill our promise. And we don't want to tarnish the name of all the other players by not doing it. You understand? Because one bad apple spoils the entire pie. And the entire pie suffers with a low penetration rate, and we all suffer. But we want to grow this pie. And only when we do the right thing shall we grow the pie. So I want anybody I want people to really trust us, and we keep our promise.
All right. And still staying on the same issue, of course, insurance has also been labeled as a sector that is vulnerable to what I would like a better word to describe it. When it comes to claim settlement.
Right.
We've also gotten feedback from Wananchi touching on issues around collusion, people working in cahoots with people inside companies.
Absolutely.
How do you instill a sense of accountability, transparency, good governance
Thank you.
to ensure that we stick to best practices?
Thank you. That's a very good question. And unfortunately, you're talking about the situation which we call the moral hazard, where there's a breakdown in our value systems. Okay, we want to make money as quickly as possible, even if we're going to be dishonest about it. And we behave as if our lives are going to end tomorrow rather than in the next 50, 100, 200 years. You understand? Now, as a company, one of the commitments we have made is to have a very long-term view. And one of the values we hold extremely dear is the value of integrity, right? Where we say our word is our promise. And we don't want to do any dirty business of dishonesty, of cheating clients for the short-term gain. If we go back to the history of ICEA Lion Group, it dates back, way back to 1895, literally, right? The current company is a merger between Insurance Company of East Africa and Lion of Kenya way back in 2012. But the history of those two companies dates back to 1895. And we intend to push this for the next 1,000 years. Now, if we start taking shortcuts and being dishonest, where we don't adhere to the values of honesty, integrity, clean business, proper underwriting practices, then we're going to shoot ourselves in the foot. There'll be no long-term business for us. We have a reputation to maintain. Okay? And I believe that we've kept that reputation. We're well known for it, and we intend to continue. And I would urge all players in the market to continue with this. In fact, everybody in this country should be doing that. In fact, everybody in this continent should be adhering to values. And if you just go back to the issue of values, the reason we have so many problems in many businesses, and if you look at the business collapses in this country, it's a problem of deficit of values. It's a problem of short-termism. It's a problem of corruption. You know, those are the things that are destroying many businesses. And we have said we don't want to do that. And we need to continue. We need to have this vision. It is not easy when everybody else is taking shortcuts, but we intend to continue. And we can attest that this is what we've stuck to all these years, and our business is growing. So we believe we're on the right path.
All right.
And we can stand tall and say, this we stand for, and this we shall continue to stand for and live by.
Let's shift gears now, Mr.
Yes.
Mwangi.
Yes.
Looking at the current economic situation,
Right.
We did see the pandemic affecting
Absolutely.
businesses in
Absolutely.
all proportions.
Absolutely.
The economy contracted, jobs were lost.
Absolutely.
And we are here now saying people need to buy insurance.
Absolutely.
How did the insurance sector in the first place perform?
Yes.
And what do you see in your crystal ball? Are
Okay.
things likely to change?
Okay. Thank you very much. 2020 March the 15th was the day the president made a speech, and he said, we've got to lock down our borders. Schools need to close the next 3 days. People have to start working from home. I mean, you can imagine that was a shock to the entire economy, right? So naturally, a lot of our clients were affected by this COVID-19 pandemic. You know, you can imagine in the hospitality industry, they couldn't get guests, they couldn't serve food in their restaurants, you know. There was a fear of the pandemic spreading, so people had to stay at home. So a lot of businesses literally ground to a halt. Now, those were our clients. On a very practical level, many of them had employees who they let go. Many of them had pension products. They couldn't remit the contributions. So there were what we call surrenders. The value of the insurance contributions to a particular time was assessed, and there was a surrender value, and some of them had to receive their money. So we saw a contraction in our business. Okay? Fortunately, some of them had already insured from January for the short-term business, but for the long-term business, we found that people could not afford, they didn't have the liquidity, and we found a shrinkage in that.
Yeah.
We also found that in the investments we've done, for example, in the residential and office investments, a lot of businesses who have rented space from us in our investments could not afford to pay rent, so we found a bit of shrinkage in that area also. So we were all negatively affected. But we had to come up with a strategy to see how can we absorb this shock. Okay? And of course, the first thing we did was to find a way of making sure our people are safe, right? So we got our people to work from home. That's the first thing.
Sure.
And we're able to ensure that connectivity. And number two, how can we ensure we service our customers? We went into a high overdrive of developing what we call digital assets to make sure we can reach our people, our customers, and make sure that our people can continue working from remote locations. And this we continue to do. So we're able to absorb the shock by taking these measures. Okay? And I'm glad to say that, yes, we were negatively affected, but we could say that we are fairly resilient from the measures that we took. And I really salute all our people because they went all out to try their best to make sure that despite the negative downturn, we managed to still move on.
All right.
Now, this is a year now where we're looking at really now getting back and recovering. And I think from what we've gone through because of the COVID pandemic, we were able to develop what we call agility, ability to adapt to new changes very quickly. And I think we're better off because of that, because somehow you can easily get comfortable when there are no challenges. But this was a huge challenge for all of us.
That's
and
true.
you know, when you get a challenge, you strengthen yourself and your ability to overcome challenges.
Sure.
So we are now more innovative. We have much more agility. We're able to move very quickly. We're developing new products, such as the one we launched last week, the Digitrust product. We are developing other digital products, and those should be coming out on course this year.
All
And
right.
we're looking forward to that, yeah.
Interesting questions.
Yeah.
There's a very important question that I really wouldn't want to miss asking you. It's
Please,
on
please ask
the
it.
asset management. We are aware
Yeah.
that your asset management business recently launched the Digitrust.
Absolutely.
And I want us to spend a bit of more time on this product
Right,
because
right.
it comes at a time where Kenyans are slowly recovering from this economic lull.
Exactly.
And
exactly.
people are looking around shopping, what can I get here and there?
Absolutely.
And yes, ICEA has this to offer.
Absolutely.
What are your projections in terms of uptake?
Yeah.
Is it something you are going to go big on?
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you very much, AB. I think that's a very good question. And because the launch was just last week, I think it's a very important question for us. And it's very timely that we have this product available. Number one, let us understand that the savings rate in Kenya is approximately 8%. Okay? Our Vision 2030 has projected to increase that savings rate to about 30%.
Yeah.
Now, when COVID struck, those who did not have savings ended up literally needing to beg for their survival. And a state of begging for survival is a state of no dignity at all. And nobody would like to end up in that space. I'm sure you got many calls from people saying, you know, things are a little difficult, send me something,
Oh,
send me
yes.
something.
Oh, yes.
I mean, it's not
It was a
something
trying
anybody-
time.
It was a trying time. And so you help those you can, but you can't help them indefinitely. And I think people have realized it's better if I proactively help myself by ensuring that I have a nest egg of savings
Yeah.
and investments which I can dip into in case of a downturn in my life, in my
Yeah.
financial life. And so we are basically saying that we were educated through this practical experience of difficulty to realize saving is very important. And so Digitrust then comes in. The challenge that people have had with saving is that to try and open a savings account or or get an investment product is a long, horrendous product with a lot of documentation, which you have to go to a particular location and give documents there and line up, etc., etc. But we've got mobile technology. Why can't we use mobile technology to ease the pain of investing, right? And that's what Digitrust is all about. But also affordability is an issue. Some of the investment products around are just very difficult for many people because the threshold is very high and the returns are also very low. So let us access the money markets through a product that is easy to access, that has a low threshold for starting off, and that also has got flexibility. So Digitrust has flexibility in that even if you invest today, you can actually withdraw some of that money to a certain limit tomorrow, up to 10,000 shillings. And beyond that, you've got to give us a notice of approximately 24 hours. Okay? But that is very friendly to the users. So it is not an investment product, it's an investment solution with the users in mind, with the ordinary mwananchi, with the ordinary person who wants to make sure that if there is a difficulty in the future, at least they have a place where they are placing some funds aside and they don't have to go to that situation of no dignity where you have to beg, seek, call people and say, look, I'm stranded. Okay? That is the reason.
All right.
That's the rationale.
Interesting.
And we encourage people actually to say, take up this savings culture. There is also something which we call share of wallet. When people get money, there is a lot of people who are looking for that money. Okay? There are people who sell drinks, they want that money. There are people who sell gambling services, they want that money. And all these other people. Right? But we are basically saying the wise option is for you to take an investment product rather than some of these, because some of these are very short-term products or very short-term expenditures that you're going to spend. They're based on luck, but this is assured.
Yeah.
You know you're going to invest a certain amount of money, you know you're going to get a certain return, you know you can access your money and your money is not going anywhere and it will never get lost because you are with an established business, which is not going anywhere.
Excellent.
Yeah, so that's why we're encouraging people.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'd be keen to see how the product performs in the coming days.
Yes, there's a whole education process which we're looking forward to. This is part of it, and we really want to educate people, especially the young people who have a long future ahead of them, that it's worthwhile. If you look at countries like Japan, they have developed very well out of this culture of really working hard, being frugal, trying to save some money, etc., etc. And you can see they are a very big growing economy. So it's good for the country. It's good for the continent.
All right.
Yeah.
And as we wrap up, Mr. Mwangi, just recently I was having a chat with a very good friend of mine, Ms. Waithera, and we're just talking about wealth and asset management.
Right.
It is perceived that it's a product meant for the wealthy.
Right.
And just help us dismantle all these myths.
Okay. Ebi, I think there is no such category as wealthy and poor, but we should have the categories of wealthy and potentially wealthy. You understand? Those are the two categories I like to work with. We should not call people poor or not wealthy. We say potentially wealthy and those who are wealthy. And what we're basically saying, this product is for the wealthy and the potentially wealthy. I'll give you a simple example. There was a story a few years ago in the press, and I think you must be aware of it. There was a gentleman who used to sell maize here in Nairobi, right? And he was selling the maize 10 shillings, 20 shillings, and putting that money aside. 10 shillings, 20 shillings, and putting that money aside. And within a few years, I think 3-4 years, he went and bought this big new matatus. I think they call them manyangas. You know those very fancy manyangas?
Yes.
Those beautiful matatus.
Here
or nganyas.
The current generation call them nganyas.
Nganyas, yeah, those ones. He went and bought one.
Yeah.
And I think it was plying the Ongatrongai route. Very beautiful. It has screens on the seats and everything. Eh? Now, was this man not wealthy or was he poor? He was potentially wealthy. And now he's a wealthy man. Because he had the discipline of saving, putting money aside on a regular basis, and delaying his consumption, delaying his immediate gratification. Everybody is capable of doing that. So this product we have is for everybody who is capable of disciplining themselves. And if they are not yet wealthy, they are potentially wealthy, and within a few years, they can be very wealthy.
All right.
So this is what we encourage
people.
Doesn't discriminate.
Yeah.
It's up to you. If it is to be, it is up to you. If you want to be wealthy, you have a vehicle. And all you need to do is discipline yourself
Okay.
and use this vehicle to your advantage.
All right.
This gentleman did not have that vehicle at the time, but he used whatever means available at the time. But how many more are there like him? We think there are very many. We believe there are very many. And we want to reach them. Because if we can make potentially wealthy people wealthy in this country, we are all better off. Crime will go down, everyone will be much happier, we'll have less problems.
All right.
Abi, I just want to mention on the big picture, as we sit here on this show today speaking, we have a big problem in this African continent. There are young people trying to escape out of the continent, walking literally to the northern part of Africa to find a boat that will take them to Europe. Are you aware of that?
Yes, we are.
As we speak today, there are young girls who are being recruited by agents to go and work in the Middle East countries as housemaids and other jobs. You understand? Under very difficult conditions, because they are not able to generate some wealth for themselves here and survive reasonably. How? We have a way of that they can start saving the little they have here, and from potentially wealthy, they can become wealthy. That's what we want.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Yeah.
Speaking from the heart
Absolutely.
to power.
Absolutely.
Well, we've been speaking there to the CEO of ICEA, Lion Group, just giving us the latest insights into the insurance business and even as the company positions itself for better growth in 2021. Well, that's where we bring it to a close. For now, we take a look at the markets as we wrap up. Well, those are the numbers from the markets, and we thank you for your valid company. Remember to always engage with us on our social media platforms appearing at the bottom end of your screens. Until next time, bye-bye.